Today, I'd like to welcome Natalie Lynch from Studio Yellow, who is going to tell us a bit more about her business. And my first question for you today, Natalie, is what is your core area of expertise, your zone of genius that you bring to your students or clients?
Well, my area of expertise is definitely in teaching art to adults. After many years of teaching art to students who were teenagers or children, I've really learnt over the years how to break things down to get people started at any age. So I really work on their mindset as well as technical skills that they need so they build up their confidence and understand that art can be something that you can learn at any age.
What is your professional background, and what was your aha moment that led you to become a coach or a trainer in this field?
So my career started as a high school art teacher, and after many years in the Queensland Education Department, I then applied for a job in the private sector, and I taught primary school students as their specialist art teacher for about 20 years. During that time, unfortunately, I lost my husband. He passed away from suicide, and that was definitely a pivotal moment in my personal circumstances as well as my career. After a few years, I just felt this desperate need to help more adults with their mental health, and art had helped me so much during my grieving. And I decided, well, let's transition into helping adults use art for the therapeutic benefits the way I had when I was grieving. So I started my own business and I left the school system completely, and now I teach adults the things that I think are really important, not what the school thinks is really important.
My next question is, what makes you the blue unicorn in your field, or what is your superpower?
I think my clients really relate to me. They can see that I've been through the tough times as well as the good times, and they know that I have experience with all learning styles. So I really can read the room. I can relate to my students and empathise with them. It just means that they feel really supported. Because I'm a qualified teacher, I'm not an artist who just tells people this is how I do what I do. It makes a huge difference to the way I present the skills that I want to get across. And that way people make a lot more progress. It means that you can really get to the point really fast and break things down into bite-sized steps so that it's easy to follow along and you understand why it's necessary to do certain things in certain orders, and also why it's so helpful for you and your mental health to be doing these sorts of activities, because, you know, the importance of creativity is so understated. And I think with the years of experience I've had and my personal experience as a widow, as a mother, as a teacher, I bring all of that to the work that I do.
What industry myths or misconceptions do you love to challenge through your training?
Well, the biggest myth is that you're born with talent or you're not born with talent. And I completely blow that one out of the water when I show people that you really can learn, and that artists have got lots of hints and tricks that they use all the time, that once you know what they are, you can do lots of good work as well. Another one, I suppose, is I hear all the time that it's skipped a generation with me. I love art, but people say, but my mum was good at art, it skipped a generation, my child's good at art, but, you know, I don't have those skills. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there that you have to have some sort of God-given talent. But I really think, like any other skill, if you're prepared to put in the time and listen and learn and be open to feedback, then you can and will progress and get much better at whatever skill it is. And art is no different. It's just a lot more fun and a lot more therapeutic.
If you could speak directly to one person in a company who truly needs what you offer, who would it be? What would you say to get their attention? And why are they the person who needs to hear it first?
All right. So the person who needs to hear it first is somebody who knows that people are struggling behind the scenes. Something has happened in their life that's not necessarily related to their work, but they're not really coping because there's a feeling of overwhelm striking for whatever reason. what I offer is a way to take a break from that overwhelm, from overthinking, from worrying, from feeling like there's no hope in the future. And you can't do that in many ways. I just know that it's only when you really get into the flow of something like art, where you're fully concentrating and you're really mindful about what you're doing, that it gives you a break from everything else. And that's what gives you the energy then to cope with everything else later on. So it's not like covering it up and sweeping it under the carpet. It's about taking a break and just focusing on something long enough that you feel far more energized later on, because your brain had that mental break that it really needed. So basically, everybody can benefit, and you just never know who really needs the help the most.
Can you share a moment or story where you knew your work had made a real difference, something that captures why what you do matters?
So many of my clients just say that I've changed their life. They're so grateful for the fact that I've given them a hobby that, or a confidence to do a hobby that really has made a difference in how they feel and think about the whole world. They build self-confidence, their energy changes, but also they say to me, even their commute to work is different. I remember one story where a lady was saying she gets the train to work every day, and she'd sit on the train. She couldn't read because she'd get a bit travel sick, so she used to just sit there bored every day. And she said since doing my classes, she looks out the window, she looks at people, she looks at shadows on the floor, she looks at the whole world through the eyes of an artist, where you're looking at color and you're looking at composition and you're looking for ideas of, I wonder if I could draw that. Or so she said she's never even bored sitting on a train anymore. And I think that's the biggest thing. It really does make you aware of the beauty that is in the world. And if you can find little pieces of beauty here and there in your everyday life, it doesn't seem so negative overall that we're living in a world of doom and gloom. Well, we're actually living in a world full of beauty, and it's really fun trying to capture that beauty when you are being creative.